Maywall comes off, and it doesn't split anyone from Boston away. All of the team had already committed to the point, but losing their front liner first. Fusion's down, Myungbong second to go, and the Uprising are going to fall apart here.
You lose Fusions, and then when you lose Myungbong, I mean, losing your Orisa and your Batiste to be ran down. The first kill in the fight, yeah, this is just going to be some stagger here. The first kill in the fight came from Space on a Color Hex, set up with a halt accretion, and then some shots that came in from Shaz. So you have the Gladiators take the point first.
Fusions did have a Primal Rage to make this more competitive. Kepster has to Ice Block there to avoid getting hacked. He actually avoids a bit of that Sticky Bomb damage doing so. So I guess 2 for 1, he'll take that, and Birdring is wreaking havoc. No one's looking at him right now, but he was watching everybody and causing so many problems for the Uprising, who fall further and further behind.
This
Deadeye, but finds very little. As usual, Boston are playing out of line of sight, but Halo's in deep trouble. If he drops, yep, he's down. Goes to half health in midair. You know it's an insta-kill when he hits the dirt. Space puts another one 6 feet under. Jerry falls by the wayside, and now the Uprising have no choice but to let down their hair from the high tower and fight on the point. And it doesn't look good at all. Color Hex hit with an accretion is Space.
Jerry's gotten like 2 to 3 big dynamites here to get up to almost having a Bob already, but it may not even matter. His front line's getting run down, yeah.
I may not have it in time. Color Hex goes down to Birdring, eventually gets picked out of the sky in Space. Yes, he will pressure Punk down. Kevster may be removed here, but the Gladiators get what they came for, and despite Jerry doing a frankly, ridiculous amount of damage with addition where they can just sort of go straight to it. They need to deal with the threat on the bridge. A gigantic gravitic flux on the Gladiators. They do at least get a sound barrier off in time. And now an Amp Matrix to help Bob just held his opposite number. The Gladiators come out on top. Fusion's mowed over. And that was a huge part because of the window that Shaz sets up and Birdring sits behind it, just pelting away at those opposition tanks. Boss man, I need to dress up to celebrate adequately. It's a heartbreaker still. They're able to contest just in time. Fusion breaks through. Immortality Field has to be used by the Boston Uprising now, but they lose the big guns. Jerry goes down at the start of the fight because Birdring just sits in the background and just chooses whatever target he pleases. The Uprising were always on the back foot coming into a fight like that because they were just trying to stall and get onto the cart before another kick
here at the end of the map.
OG takes a bit of damage into his Discord with sticky bombs on him, so he just backs up and gets healed quickly. Another Ramp Matrix for Shaz, and Kevin says, come on, why don't you step here onto the cart and contest this and more? The Uprising do, because what other choice do they have? But Bob just gets a 3-player RKO as he comes in off the top rope, and the Gladiators end the push with 2 minutes and 8 seconds on the clock. And they can start the fight properly. Punk is looking pretty swole after that kinetic grasp, and Birdring is trying to play an off angle himself. As long as he doesn't get caught, this could be devastating. He gets Jerry with a headshot, and Space is in a safe spot to control, but there it is. Color Hex finds Birdring with a Discord orb and beams him down.
Yeah, you got the Discord orb down there, like you mentioned, and then Color Hex able to get 2. Now you start to see the Echo start to pay off as they're able to break this setup. Now you have Kepster going and playing Sombra.
For having less healing throughput capacity, I guess. But now, look again, they want to push up. They get rid of Halo first, and look at the first 3 kills here. The Gladiators focus down the priority targets. We get both supports and fusions in the first 3. And they get, this time, value out of the Sombra.
Down and get out. It's not to kind of have a really sustainable comp that's going to last a while in these neutral fights.
In fairness, I think with Lucio's amp it up, they probably have more healing in those windows, right? I mean, Zen's not going to be AoE healing very much. He'll just help you with the...
Yeah. Also speed, right?
Yeah. And also...
See him sitting on speed.
Oh my god! I just hear somebody yelling in the distance, Timber! The Gladiators were able to stave off most of the gravitic flux effect. Space somehow stays alive here, but I mean, OG's in deep trouble. Fusion's eventually able to work him down, and Space is probably cackling to himself as he backs away, considering what the Gladiators just inflicted on Boston, but
I mean, you're totally fine with this, though, if you're the Gladiators. So you're still in a spot where the Gladiators can burn a ton of clock here.
Right, that gravitic flux is devastating, though. Yeah, you saw Jerry didn't have to take too much damage in midair to ensure the kill. And yeah, oh my, the knockback was brutal.
The
The Gladiators are going to be sitting pretty... and environmental kill potential close to the enemy spawn. This is perfect
you notice
for the Gladiators.
They give them enough. They give them just enough space to make it out of the spawn, and then as soon as the Gladiators realize they have enough space to capitalize, they just run them down. All right, well, this
Mobility field in play.
Space on the
wrapped
flank.
around. I mean, yeah, he uses the mobility from his own flux, then he gets there. Okay, it's OG caught in midair, goes down. Big Goose also removed, and an opportunity now manifests itself for the Boston Uprising. They've willed it into existence, but they need to control it. No, Color gets brought down. Will there be someone else to step up? Is there no one else? And the Boston Uprising, tantalizingly. That is insane. Mira flanking Jerry. Oh no! Well, he gets a knuckle sandwich from Mira, and the rest of the Gladiators now can just rotate to the point. Both DPS players are down for the Uprising, and their tanks are huddled together in this small room, which is very easy for Space to get micro rocket value. Mira the only player to fall there, and wow, it looked elaborate, but for the Gladiators, for the individuals, it was as simple as Nano Boost has been employed. If this doesn't work for the Gladiators, things could get a little dicey. They need to follow through with the rest of this fight as Mira is hit with an accretion. As soon as he touches down, not quite as nice as the Falcon Lander, but we'll take it. Back to the point now, and here's that transcendence that the Uprising were trying to farm up. That'll buy them some more time as well, but without fusions, the rest of their players lack adequate protection. They'll push forward though, and say the best defense is a good offense.
Yeah, really good D there from the Boston Uprising. He almost survived through that huge onslaught of ultimates. That Gladiator pushing into this back left corner. This will be Punk with a Gravitic Flux. Not sure it gets much of anything. His fusions gets onto the point, can test with the Wrecking Ball, but looks like Boston mounting a late comeback.
This is good. Okay, the Uprising can stabilize once more here. Carla Hex is getting, over the course of these fights, increasingly more value. Gets close to another Molten Core, not too far away.
Open things up.
Mira sends it, gets fusions, but he loses his life, and it is the Nano Boost on towards Signal right now. Space doesn't fancy fisticuffs with his opposite number presently. Gravitic Flux looks like a good catch on that one, but he needs to avoid the Molten Core. Yeah, well, the Flux is going to draw the Uprising off the point, and they couldn't contest even with. They need to maybe change their tact a bit.
Now they put themselves in a weird spot where they can get pinched on in. Mira can come down the stairs here, just cause a ton of problems with his Junkrat. As that's the type of scenario you definitely don't want to put yourself in against a Junkrat, especially when the other Mira potentially this Riptire. Space gets low, has to back up. Punk's going to take him out.
All right, 2 ticks, and the Gladiators kind of botch the retake attempt there, Matthew. Looked like they were more than happy just sort of backing up and giving some ground, but eventually the positioning was so powerful for the Boston Uprising that the Gladiators couldn't wrest control of the point away.
Yeah, they were.
Mira's going to flank because he can. Jerry. Oh, Jerry! That's unlucky. Here's that Dragon Strike, though, and Space gets caught in the middle of it. Jerry sends a bob out as well, and the Uprising are up in players currently. OG has nowhere to go. He's literally backed into a corner. And now let's see what the Gladiators could put together for a retake. It needs to be awfully quick. Bob is going to help them. So will Sound Barrier, as long as enough players benefit from it. But Big Goose can't even get the ultimate off. He's in midair, and he gets taken down by fusions. Bob gets to the point. Here is here on the Doomfist, and OG comes out on the Wrecking Ball now. Carla Hex is just looking for a head to shoot. Anything he can find to keep the Uprising in the lead will be huge. Mira gets rid of Myeonbong, so healing slightly reduced for the Uprising, but they still have Halo. They still have the lion's share of that throughput now, and Mira's trying to cause as much problems as he possibly can, but the Uprising, they hang on, and they get the round finished at least. There it is. Shaz sets OG, goes forward with a Wing and a Prayer. It's going to be an Immortality field used on that high ground, though. Nicely done for Boston. They stave off the first push, but Space is still able to get into the back line and deal with Jerry. He'll be desuited as a result, and they can't touch at all. The Boston Uprising prevent themselves from dropping a shot. He does. OG has to get out and just gets a Nano Boost, but it's going to be another few seconds before it can go high. So instead, he goes low. Pushes in. Primal Rage is there as well, so it'll be tough for the Uprising to get out and actually fight for control at this point now, and yeah, they can't. They walk straight into the primal map.
That was such a weird start to a map. We had one elimination go down.
That only 1 kill happens at a checkpoint is gained. It should say a lot about that. OG a little low, doesn't want to push forward, but Space is healthy enough to drive deep into the back line and get rid of Myeonbong and Jerry. And I've got bad news for you Boston fans out there. Your team is going to struggle to contest this.
All right,
and they're not going to bother. They have to give it up. Oh, no!
No, they're not close to contesting. Now they get the forward spawn, so they have to jump off. This will give more payload progress. Now,
Fusion pushes up now. Tries to, force people maybe to stand inside that Dragon Strike, but 2 down to the back line of the Uprising are offering less resistance than a cadaver with Rigor Mortis right now. Myeonbong is brought back
out of spawn to get a larger EMP, and there it is.
All right, that's a decent EMP. Gravitic Flux catches just Shaz by the looks, and he's kept alive for a little while, but not long enough. Still, the kills go the way of the Gladiators here. Big Goose's Valkyrie is going to help keep them topped up, so they push ahead. Shaz is back in the fight now. Halo once more uses a Valkyrie to no avail. Tries to touch and he can't. Self-destruct will dissuade any further interference by Boston. And that's at least that self-destruct, by the way, from space.
Yeah.
Oh my. And Halo gets caught by that? No, it's Myeonbong. Okay.
Yeah, and Myeonbong gets
Self-destruct and will resuit as quickly as possible, and Punk can't do a damn thing about it.
It is so good to see space back on the D.Va. The defense matrix there to keep Shaz alive was perfect. Self-destruct over the top, though, is Boston. Continues to move the payload. This will be a nano boost here used on the OGs. The Gladiators still trying to fight.
The nano. Oh, the biotic grenade as well on towards Fusion's made that pretty darn hard for him to stick around. Nano boost delivered by Shaz. Means the Gladiators have enough fuel in the MP to end this. Look at Space. Just delivers a defense matrix to keep his widow alive. And OG sent Myeonbong off the edge. He gets hacked, but he still has flailing fists of fury, and he's going to be able to force at least the translocate away by Color Hex. But the Sombra keeps that EMP. Birdring wants to contest right now, but is also forced to translocate away, and there it is. Space gets an EMP dropped on him, and Big Goose goes down immediately. Shaz is able to still do most of his healing right now, but he's getting pressured on his own here.
Okay, that kill is huge now that you got Shaz out of the way. I was going to say, it's not going to be enough because OG and Space still here. EMP for Birdring.
Could be big. Punk doesn't have a defense matrix right now. He's hacked. Trying to get back in his mech in some way, but he's picked off before he could. Self-destruct, I think he had it available, but that EMP made it impossible for him to refresh his mech. Now Jerry, well, who does he find? He needs to find a key target. Fusions goes in, biotic grenade to heal him up, and oh no.